Hello and welcome to part 3 of the xptemplate for the Compleat Newb tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to write some basic snippets. I'm going to assume you've already installed and configured xptemplate and have successfully written your first snippet. If you haven't yet done so, please watch the previous tutorials in this series. Also assume that you're using the xptemplate settings from the second tutorial. Alright, let's get started. The first thing you'll want to do is download some basic snippets from the URL you see on your screen. Or you can just follow along in this video and manually type in the snippets as you see them on the screen. Let's first take a look at the header of this snippet file. Pause the video here if you need to manually copy this header into your personal snippet file. As usual, the first line in the file sets the priorities of these snippets to personal. The next block of code is used to include other snippet files in this one. Files included here set up some useful defaults. In particular, the one we're most interested in is the cursor default, which we'll use later in this video. For more information, see :help xpt include. Now let's take a look at our first basic snippet, alpha. Pause the video here if you need to manually copy this snippet into your personal snippet file. There's nothing new to learn from the first line of this snippet, which merely gives the snippet its name. We've already seen this before. The only new things in this snippet are the strange bits of text between the backquote and caret symbols. These are called placeholders, and the backquote and caret symbols are called placeholder marks. Please notice that it's the backquote character that's used here, and not the usual single quote. I recommend using a programming font where the difference between the two characters is clear. The backquote and caret are used as delimiters because they're rarely used in programming languages, so will not likely conflict with the code in your snippet. However, these characters are fully configurable in xptemplate. For more information, see :help xpt-placeholder-mark. Now let's continue examining the alpha snippet. After this snippet is triggered, the user's cursor will be positioned on the first of these placeholders. The user will see the text inside of each of these placeholders and can replace that text by simply typing over them. To move to the next placeholder, the user can hit his tab key. Once the user hits tab while his cursor is positioned on the last placeholder, his cursor will be positioned to the right of the last character in the snippet, unless there's a placeholder named cursor, in which case the user's cursor will end up on that placeholder instead. We'll see how to use the cursor placeholder in the beta snippet. For now, let's just try out our alpha snippet. After you've saved the snippet file containing the alpha snippet, open up a new file of whatever file type your snippet file belongs to. For example, if you've continued using the lua.xpt.vim file for your personal snippets, you can now type vim space test.lua, and the snippets you've saved should now be usable by triggering them in this file. So now, you should be able to type in insert mode, alpha, and hit F1. If everything worked, the F1 key should have triggered the alpha snippet. What you see on your screen should be exactly what your snippet file contained after the line with the alpha snippet's name, except now the backquote and caret symbols found in your placeholders have disappeared. Try typing into these placeholders and jumping to the next placeholder using your tab key. Notice how when you hit tab from the last placeholder, your cursor will jump to the right of the last character in the snippet, which in this snippet is the closed curly bracket. Now you know how to write and trigger the simplest kind of snippet, and navigate its placeholders. Before we continue with the beta snippet, I'd like to show you one other xptemplate feature. Go ahead and trigger the alpha snippet again by typing alpha and hitting F1. And then, on one of the placeholders, type alpha again and hit F1. What you've just done is triggered a snippet inside another snippet. These are called nested snippets. You can trigger as many nested snippets as you like. Once your cursor moves outside of one nested snippet, it will jump to the next placeholder of the next outer snippet, and you can continue filling in those placeholders as usual. Alright, now that you know some of the basics, let's take a look at how we can force the cursor to end up at a specific place once the user has finished filling in all the placeholders in a given snippet. To do that, let's take a look at the beta snippet. As you can see, the beta snippet is virtually identical to the alpha snippet. The only new thing is the cursor placeholder. The cursor placeholder indicates where the cursor will end up when the user hits tab while in the last placeholder of the snippet. Let's try it out. Save your snippet file and quit and restart your Vim instance that was editing the test.lua file. Or you can hit Alt F1 in the test.lua file to ask xptemplate to reload your snippets. Now you should be able to type beta in insert mode and hit F1 to trigger that snippet. Go ahead and keep hitting tab to jump over each placeholder until your cursor winds up on the cursor placeholder, where the text cursor will disappear. This is how the cursor placeholder works. So now let's move on to the gamma snippet. There are two new things in the gamma snippet. The first, that there is a double quote after the snippet's name, and the text, "This is a reminder." This is called a hint, and will be used to show the user something to the right of the snippet's name in the pop-up menu that you can trigger using \tab. We'll see how that works soon. Next new thing in this snippet is a placeholder that's delimited by 2 colons. This is how you include a snippet within another snippet. So the code here directs xptemplate to include the alpha snippet in the gamma snippet. Let's try it out. Save the gamma snippet and reload your snippets. Then trigger the gamma snippet as usual. You should now see that it contains the alpha snippet. Now let's trigger the pop-up menu and take a look at the hint that we set for the gamma snippet. You can trigger the pop-up menu by quickly typing a / followed by a tab. Once the pop-up menu comes up, type the first few characters of gamma to see the gamma snippet. To the right of the name of the snippet, you'll see the hint that we set. The hint feature is often used to remind the user of what the snippet will look like when it's expanded. Alright, let's take a look at one more basic snippet, the delta snippet. This rather strange looking snippet has only one new thing about it. All of its placeholders have the same name. When 2 or more placeholders have the same name, typing into the first of them will cause whatever you type to be repeated in all of those placeholders. Let's try it out. Save your snippet file and reload your snippets. Then trigger the delta snippet in the test.lua file. Try typing something into the first placeholder. Notice how whatever you type is repeated in the rest of the placeholders with the same name. Alright, that's it. You should now be able to write some basic snippets of your own. I hope you can join me for the next part of the xptemplate for the Compleat Newb tutorial, where I'll show you how to write some more powerful snippets.